so much money in affiliate marketing? Bro, just do print on demand. It's the easiest thing. Have you seen the numbers on digital products? Just sell those. Just go all in on YouTube automation. What about drop shipping?
Hey guys, I think we're overwhelming him.
If this is you, you're not alone. It's so easy to get distracted nowadays when information is literally at our fingertips. We're seeing 16, 17, 18-year-olds get rich and we want in. It's super tempting to jump into the next big thing, and I'll admit I've been guilty of this. But the thing is, it just doesn't get you anywhere. It hasn't gotten me anywhere. And this would be shiny object syndrome. And if I had to guess, then this would be the #1 reason why entrepreneurs fail to succeed, why they fail to see results. And what I'm trying to say overall is that constantly switching focus doesn't help in the long term. So I look back to all the things I started and stopped, and I think, what if I stuck through? What would be different now? And if you're on the same boat and want to stop getting distracted with all these different things, then keep watching. So whenever the thought of switching business models comes to mind, I think of 3 things, and so far it's helped keep the temptations at ease. The first thing I remind myself might sound like a cliche, but it makes all the difference, and that's to go over my goals. And I'm not talking about a goal that's generic. For example, being financially free. More specific. So in that case, for me, it would be YouTube. So if you don't know already, I'm involved in YouTube automation, where I hired a bunch of people to write, record it, edit my content so I can upload it to my faceless YouTube channels. So that's my main goal and my main focus, which is to keep going with YouTube automation with these faceless channels, improve, and eventually be profitable. And when I remind myself of this goal, I stay a lot more focused. And this might be different for you. Maybe you're not interested in creating YouTube content. Maybe you want to teach others how to play piano, or you want to sell your custom artwork. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. And just imagine how different things would be if you stuck with that 1 year from now, if you put all your focus on that. And this leads me on to the next thing, which I struggled my whole life with, and that would be consistency. And the thing about consistency is that it has a compounding effect. Putting in the work and improving every day is going to go ahead and compound into something much bigger. Imagine what's going to be like 1 year from now or 5 years from now, as long as you stayed consistent with it. And the Slight Edge is a perfect example of that, and the biggest takeaway I got from it: focus on the little things. Focus on improving 1% every single day. And as long as that happens, then you can't fail. It can be something as simple as going for a 10-minute walk, and it gets easier over time. And because you stuck to that one thing, it's going to positively affect and spill into other aspects in your life. And this can be in whatever you're trying to pursue. Don't be a jack of all trades and master of none, at least when it comes to business. I actually remember being proud of being a jack of all trades when I was younger. I tried a bunch of things, but the thing is, I never stuck with something, and I never got really good, or at least stuck with it long enough to see how good I could actually get at it. I learned to play guitar, picked up a few songs, but never continued. I drew a lot and was proud of my drawings, but eventually gave up. I became obsessed with the Rubik's Cube, but when I realized I couldn't get any faster, I just stopped. You could also argue trying all these different things aren't a bad thing, especially because they're just hobbies. But the thing is, if this mentality of constantly changing things shifts over into business, that's when it becomes a bad thing. I tried a bunch of different business models, but never stuck with one long enough to really see the results. But the thing is, you can't change the past, and there's no point dwelling on it. The only thing I could really do is use it as a learning example, a learning lesson that took me over half a decade to learn. But I'm glad I learned it now rather than later. The last thing might be the hardest for some, and that's limiting social media. I remember mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, and then hours would pass, and then I would have so many different business ideas that I can start. But it was only a distraction. Just because one person succeeded in 7 different things doesn't mean you should try all of them. And you might be saying,
But Chris, you have to have multiple streams of income to become wealthy.
yeah, you do. But the main focus now should be on one thing before you go ahead and branch out. But what if the object is so shiny and so tempting that you're ready to jump on board? And for me, that's print on demand. I first asked myself, do I have enough time? Yeah. I mean, I spent a few hours going over some scripts, doing research, posting, and managing, but after that, I still have plenty of time. The next thing I asked is this opportunity just as valuable? Yeah. Print on demand on paper is an easier business model. And the reason I say this is because I don't have to spend as much money up front as I do with YouTube automation. And the only things I'm really paying for are going to be 20 cents for every listing fee and Canva, but I already had Canva beforehand, so I don't think that really counts. And this isn't my first time doing print on demand, so I figured I'd give it another shot. I originally started back in 2016, but I saw no results. Then I tried again in 2020 when I was at the dealership, and I managed to get some sales. I actually had results. And even though I wasn't very good at making designs, people still bought these products. But after a month or two, I stopped, and the only reason for it was because the profit was too low. But looking back, if I stuck with print on demand, I would have been in a much different spot today. But as they say, live and learn. So hopefully this resonated with you. And if you want to see more on my journey and what I learned, don't forget to subscribe.